Hey, what's up guys? Randy Rector here, back at you with another one. And today we're gonna go over 3 accessories for the Mavic Air 2, as well as film some saucy B-roll. Let's get to it. All right, real question. Have you ever completely obsessed over setting up shop? Like getting the tools in place to do something productive? Whether that's an artist studio or a wood shop or a video studio. To me, that's been this drone. I've always wanted a drone because I thought it's the one piece of the puzzle that I don't have that's really gonna up the quality of my videos. That brings me to the first accessory. This here is a landing pad. You can get this on Amazon for about 20 bucks, and it may seem kind of crazy to have a landing pad for the Mavic Air 2 because it's so good at taking off and landing like exactly where you take off from, but it's more of a takeoff pad than it is a landing pad. Now that's partly to do with the drone laws here in Canada. They're actually pretty strict, and so if you're being a good drone pilot like I know you are, you actually have to take off about 100 feet away from any bystanders. Now the challenge with that is that you often end up going to a public park where you have to go to the back where they don't mow the grass anymore, and the drone sits too low in the grass to be able to take off. So one of these helps prop the drone up, giving you a bit more clearance for those rotors to actually take off. It's a bit windy out. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good day for flying the drone, but we'll see what happens. I actually just celebrated my 30th birthday. It was awesome. We had a COVID birthday. All my friends came in and drove by the house with their horns and the noisemakers out the window. It was actually pretty special. And my wife, because she's amazing, she bought me the Mavic Air 2. A drone has been on my wish list since the dawn of time. What's cool about a new hobby like that is that all of a sudden you become really easy to shop for. So my family is pretty thankful for that. So my brother and his wife actually got me a set of ND filters. So if you're wondering what ND filters are, they're basically like sunglasses but for your lens. So it does a few different things. So number one is it's gonna make your lens a bit darker. With a DSLR or like a mirrorless camera like I'm shooting now, you have all the options. You can, adjust the ISO, the aperture, the shutter speed, you name it. With some drones, and the Mavic Air 2 is one of these drones, you don't have access to the aperture. So it auto assigns that. And so to make your shot darker, you're kind of limited to ISO and frame rate. Now, if you drop your ISO all the way to the bottom, which is 100, sometimes out in the bright summer sun, your shot might still be blown out. Having a frame rate that isn't 180 degrees, your shutter speed is gonna cause weird motion blur. So you always want your shutter speed to be double your frame rate. So really the only way that you can actually make the exposure correct in your camera is by putting some sunglasses in front of it. And so these are the newer ND filters. This one comes with a 4, an 8, and a 16. And you can also get one that has a 8, a 16, and a 32, I believe. Maybe it goes up to 64. I think it does actually. Point number 2 of why people like ND filters is that this glass is much cheaper than the glass that comes on the drone itself. And so if a rock or dust comes up and scratches one of these, they're not a huge hassle to replace, much less so than replacing the gimbal on the drone itself. So as you can see in this shot, the sky's pretty overexposed, and so I'll put on the ND8, which brings it down to be much more manageable. And now as I fly around, you can definitely tell it is still a little bit overexposed, especially in some of those highlights, but that's bound to happen if you're shooting directly into the sunlight. And this is with the grade applied. All right, accessory number 3. This is a case from a company called Lekufi or Lekufi. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's a hard case for the Mavic Air 2. So we have room for the Fly More kit. So we've got spots for 4 batteries, a little dish for accessories. I keep my accessories in a bag, and I'll show you why I keep them in a bag in just a minute. We've got these little holes, which are for the thumb toggles. Now you can actually store 4 thumb toggles in the holes. You can store 2 more in the controller and then 2 in the back of the controller as well. So there's room for 8. And this case is actually made for other controllers as well, so there's an insert that holds it in. And it does sink right down to the bottom. Over here, we've got where the drone sits. Pretty straightforward. You just fold up the rotors and it just pops right in there. It's a pretty snug fit, so it doesn't feel like it's moving around too much. And there's a spot up here for some extra rotors. Now I keep all my accessories in a bag because the controller is actually pretty snug. And so what happens is sometimes when you pull it out, you pull up the entire foam insert and it's not glued down or anything. So your accessories will spill out underneath and then you have to take everything out and reset it all. And it's really quite annoying. So that's why I keep everything in a bag. Now you could certainly use this right spot for the charging cable and stuff like that, but I tend to leave those at home in a closet. It just seems easier for me. So in here I keep my ND filters, adapter for the micro SD. You can also put those in these little slots over here, but I feel like it's a good place to lose them, so I just leave them in the adapter. I have some cables, some literature, and my pilot's license. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And that's sort of the mindset that I'm taking with this drone. I'm definitely by no means a video or camera or drone expert, so there's gonna be a lot of things to learn as we go here. But I'm really excited to be able to use these shots and incorporate them into my tech videos. And you know, if it's a music video or a gear review, or I'm taking a piece of gear somewhere, it'll be cool to throw in some of those drone shots to kind of show that journey and tell that story. So if you guys feel like sticking around and seeing this drone footage hopefully get better over time, feel free to click that sub button. So what's coming next? I have no idea, but it's gonna be fun. So stick around and we'll see you guys in the next one.